government buildings.
It started with whispers, then came the leaks. But no one, not even the palace, was prepared for the bombshell that dropped like a royal grenade this week. Tyler Perry? Yes, that Tyler Perry. The man who once offered Harry and Meghan his multi-million-dollar Beverly Hills mansion during their so-called freedom flight from the royals has just exposed something so shocking, so incendiary, that even seasoned Hollywood insiders are calling it ending. And for Prince Harry, it's personal.
Celebrating 25 years of...
Because these aren't just gossip or rumors. These are tape-sprivet recordings that, according to multiple sources, reveal what really happened behind the closed doors of Montecito. What Harry said, what Meghan confessed, and what Tyler Perry allegedly heard that made him finally turn on the very couple he once defended as family. Buckle up, because this isn't just another Hollywood fallout. This is the implosion of Prince Harry's world, and the man holding the detonator is someone he once called his American brother. It all began quietly during what insiders are calling a boiling point dinner at Tyler Perry Studios in Atlanta. Tyler, who's built his reputation on loyalty and privacy, had reportedly grown tired of being dragged into the royal soap opera. Remember, it was his name. Meghan dropped during the Oprah interview, calling him a guardian angel who provided them a safe haven when the world turned against them. At first, it sounded like a friendship forged in trauma. Tyler had even been the godfather to their daughter Elizabeth, but behind that glossy bond was a growing tension, one that insiders say had been simmering for over a year. According to reports, Harry and Meghan had been using Tyler's connections to rebuild their brand, a strategy that started to backfire when the couple's endless controversies began making him look bad. Netflix deals collapsing, Spotify partnerships imploding, and through it all, the Markle-Perry friendship that once glittered like gold started.
And the $260 million sexual assault lawsuit.
But here's where the story takes a wild, jaw-dropping turn.
Tyler Perry, who offered up his Beverly Hills mansion.
Multiple Hollywood insiders claim that Tyler Perry possesses hours of personal recordings, conversations, voice notes, even security audio captured while Harry and Meghan stayed at his property during their early post-royal days. Now, before you gasp, no, it wasn't illegal surveillance. According to those same insiders, Perry's team had routine security systems operating 24/7, including microphones in certain areas for safety purposes. Normally, that kind of footage is locked away and deleted after a few days. But for reasons no one can quite explain, these recordings weren't erased. And what's allegedly on them? That's what's making royal watchers and Hollywood execs lose their minds. Because the tapes reportedly capture Meghan and Harry having several intense, unfiltered conversations about the royal family, conversations that paint a very different picture from the one they presented publicly. We're talking raw, angry exchanges about Prince William, about Queen Camilla, and even about late Queen Elizabeth's stepfather, recorded before the Oprah interview. One insider described the tone as explosive, claiming Harry made comments so venomous that Perry himself was stunned. But it wasn't just the royals. According to those who've allegedly heard snippets of the recordings, Meghan could be heard mocking certain British traditions, laughing about how easy it was to outsmart Palisades, and bragging that they'll never see me coming. For a woman who built her public persona around compassion and victimhood, those alleged words hit like a thunderclap. Now, here's where the nightmare truly begins for Harry. Because the tapes, according to an inside source close to Perry's team, were never supposed to see daylight. They were stored away securely until, as one insider put it, Harry crossed a line. Apparently, the breaking point came earlier this year, when Harry publicly implied that Tyler had distanced himself for political reasons. That comment, subtle to the public, but sharp to Perry, was said to have infuriated him. Tyler's empire thrives on reputation, and Harry's interviews had put a crack right through it. So, according to those in the know, Perry decided to quietly remind the Sussexes who held the real power. He didn't release the tapes directly, at least not yet. Instead, word of their existence began to spread through Hollywood circles like wildfire. Suddenly, journalists, PR reps, and even royal commentators were whispering about audio proof of Harry and Meghan's hypocrisy. And when Perry's longtime studio associate let slip in an offhand conversation that there's more than people know, the internet detonated. Within hours, hashtag Tyler tapes and hashtag Harry exposed were trending globally. Now, let's take a step back, because this isn't just about leaked recordings, this is about betrayal. Tyler Perry was one of the few people who stood by Harry and Meghan when the entire world turned on them. He opened his home, he gave them protection when they claimed their security was stripped. He used his influence to connect them with Hollywood's elite. And how did they repay him? By dragging him into their ongoing drama and, according to reports, pushing him to use his platform to defend them publicly, something he refused to do after a while. That refusal, apparently, was what caused the final split. Harry, who had grown increasingly paranoid about people leaking information, allegedly confronted Tyler about trust issues. Meghan, on the other hand, reportedly accused him of not doing enough to help counter negative press. Imagine that the man who sheltered them being accused of not doing enough. Sources close to Perry said he was deeply hurt by their attitude. He gave them everything, one insider said, and when he didn't want to play their PR game anymore, they turned cold. So when the existence of those tapes leaked,
he needed to redirect, otherwise they were going to lose him. And it's like, you know what? You don't even know how. I know he would be like, you don't know these people, but he is hearing, back to Meghan's comments, a one-sided takedown of a family. He does not know the other side, and he is hearing one very jaded side.
Still, Tyler didn't need to say much publicly. A single cryptic post on his Instagram story sent the internet into meltdown. People reveal who they are when the cameras stop rolling. 7 words. That's all it took. Comment sections exploded. Fans flooded his posts with questions. Is this about Meghan? Are the tapes real? Did Harry betray you? And though Perry didn't confirm anything directly, the silence said more than words ever could. Meanwhile, in Montecito chaos, sources say Meghan was screaming when she first saw the headlines. She allegedly called Perry immediately. No answer, texted, nothing. Tyler had gone completely radio silent. Harry, however, was reportedly in denial. He's bluffing, he told a friend. But deep down, he knew the damage was already done. Because in Hollywood, perception is power. And the perception now was brutal. Harry and Meghan had lost one of their biggest allies. Worse, they'd turned him into an enemy. And with whispers of those tapes spreading through elite circles, every powerful figure once in their corner was suddenly reevaluating who wants to associate with a couple whose private words could soon be on public record. Suddenly, invitations dried up. Partnerships went on pause. Even Netflix executives, who had invested millions in their heart of projects, were reportedly panicking about the optics. The Sussex brand, once a glittering emblem of modern royalty, was now radioactive. And Tyler Perry, he was done being their savior. In a quiet conversation, reportedly overheard by a studio insider, he summed up his feelings in one brutal line. You can't help people who weaponize your kindness. But if you think that's where it ends, oh, you're mistaken. Because what comes next is darker, more explosive, and possibly the final nail in the Sussex coffin. Because apparently, those tapes might not just exist, they might already be in the hands of someone ready to use them. And when that happens,
on one of the filmmakers' shows,
the moment Tyler Perry's private revelation turned public, Meghan reportedly lost it. Witnesses described it as a storm in stilettos. She allegedly stormed through their Montecito mansion, shouting about betrayal, demanding lawyers, and accusing everyone of conspiring against her. The walls that once echoed with brand strategy, meetings, and carefully rehearsed sound bites were now vibrating with something much darker: panic. Because when those tapes leaked, it wasn't just about Harry's voice trembling or his tearful confessions. It was the tone, the pain in his voice, that made people around the world stop scrolling. You could hear the exhaustion, the quiet regret, the moment of a man realizing that the fairy tale had turned into a cage. It wasn't cruel gossip, it was tragedy caught on tape, and Hollywood smelled blood in the water. Within hours, insiders from Netflix, Spotify, and even Tyler's own studio were quietly reviewing their associations with the Sussexes. Deals that once seemed like golden tickets now looked radioactive. One PR insider told the Daily Beast, "No one wants to be next to a couple melting down in real time." And Meghan, she went from furious to desperate. She reportedly called Tyler nonstop, leaving voicemails alternating between icy politeness and emotional pleas. But Tyler wasn't budging. He'd gone on record saying something that sent shockwaves across both coasts. "You can't hide behind empathy when your truth was built on other people's pain." That line went viral, turned into memes, TikToks, even late-night comedy punchlines. Suddenly, the man who once gave them refuge had become the man who shattered their last illusion of control. But here's where it gets truly wild. Behind the scenes, Meghan's team went into overdrive. They launched what insiders called Project Redemption, a full-scale PR operation designed to spin the narrative. Suddenly, anonymous sources close to Meghan started feeding stories to glossy magazines. Tales of her being devastated by betrayal and hurt by men who exploited her trust. They painted her as the wounded warrior again, the victim of ungrateful allies and misogynistic media forces. It almost worked until more clips surfaced. These new snippets allegedly showed Meghan coaching Harry, reminding him of what to say during interviews, telling him how to frame moments for sympathy. It wasn't criminal, but it was cold. For many, it confirmed the suspicion that the whole image was a carefully choreographed act, and Harry, he vanished. Not literally, but emotionally. For weeks, he was nowhere to be seen. Friends told reporters he was barely leaving the house. There were whispers that he'd gone off-grid, staying with old army friends in the UK, trying to find clarity away from the cameras and chaos. Meanwhile, Meghan doubled down. She reportedly tried to line up an emergency interview with Oprah, Gayle King, anyone who'd listen to reclaim her side of the story. But even Oprah's team, once loyal to the Sussex brand, politely declined. A source claimed one producer said, "We're not touching this." The silence was deafening. Tabloids ran headlines like "Hollywood turns on Meghan and the Sussex brand is finished." YouTubers dissected every frame of Harry's tapes, and TikTok creators mocked Meghan's PR attempts with parody videos that went viral overnight. For the first time since their royal exit, the power couple wasn't controlling the narrative. It was controlling them. Then came the twist no one saw coming. Tyler Perry didn't stop at the tapes. He reportedly handed over key evidence to a trusted journalist, detailed account of what really went down during Harry and Meghan's so-called refuge stay at his mansion. In it, Tyler claimed that every public move was calculated behind closed doors. The story dropped like an atomic bomb. The Duke and Duchess sipping tea in their California hideaway turned into something darker, a PR laboratory, where every tear, every confession, every leak was part of a script. Hollywood insiders began distancing themselves.